Hi, it's Laura Duksta here, and I recently returned from a trip to Sedona where I had the great fortune and opportunity of meeting one of my new favorite authors and teachers, a man named John Assaraf. He's written a very cool book called The Street Kid's Guide to Having It All, and he's also one of the featured teachers in the movie The Secret, along with my main mentor, John DeMartini. For those of you who haven't seen The Secret yet, run to thesecret.tv and order your copy. It's a phenomenal explanation of the law of attraction. But anyways, inside of reading John's book, I came across a story that he was sharing about breaking the habit of having his youngest son, I think it was, or maybe it was his oldest son, having one of his sons break the habit of biting their nails. And I was reminded of my story of breaking myself of the habit of biting my nails. And I wanted to share that here on the video. So when I was in 4th grade, I decided for Lent, which for those of you who don't know, it's a period of time leading up to Easter of 40 days that people that are Catholic give up something. It can either be something that they love or something that they don't love, like a habit, like biting my fingernails, but a lot of people give up things like eating ice cream, or they give up watching television, and it's the idea of like this idea of sacrifice, I guess, leading up to, or fasting, leading up to Easter celebration. So for 4th grade, and I always bit my nails raw, I decided to give up biting my nails. And I did it. And I really don't even know where I mustered up as a 4th grader deciding that I was going to stop biting my nails to stop biting my nails. But ever since then, I've had really, really incredibly strong nails. You can't really see them here, but they're there. They're really amazing. They're actually harder to keep short than they are to keep long. And I've always said it was because I gave it up for Lent, that God has blessed me with these beautifully strong nails. Because often, and I didn't get the connection until just a few years ago, but often people that have my disease, alopecia areata, that causes baldness, their nails are also affected. They're either very brittle or they're just can be really horrible. And so it wasn't until a few years ago I was being interviewed for the Yoga Journal, I think it was, out of California, that the woman who was interviewing me said, well, you know, what's your disease all about? And I said, well, it's stress triggered. But the funny thing is that I heard a doctor once say that we can't be sure if it's stress triggered because it happens to children. And my response to that was, well, stress is relative. And who's to say that children aren't experiencing stress, at least on some level, that we might not even be privy to? And stress can look so many different ways. It can be having going through a difficult labor or birth. It can be moving. It can be getting a bad grade in school. It can be having a alcoholic, abusive father. There's all different types of things that could cause stress in a child's life, and stress is relative to each and every one of us. So inside of sharing that, she said, well, when did you start losing your hair? And I said, well, around probably the end of 4th grade, the beginning of 5th, and then I had to wear a wig by, actually the middle of 5th grade, I think, it was when I got my first wig. And she said, well, that proves that you were stressed because you were biting your fingernails. And I said, oh my God, I never made that connection. That when I stopped releasing the stress through the biting of my fingernails, the stress manifested in another form in my body, and that was through the loss of my hair. Now, alopecia is a disease that you have to be genetically predisposed to, like many good diseases, but because I was no longer releasing the stress through biting my fingernails, my hair fell out. So, I share this story for a couple of reasons. One is, I was clear when I was a little kid that I was meant to travel the world and meet my brothers and sisters and spread the message of love. And I absolutely believe that this, losing my hair, was a vehicle or part of my path that was definitely a gift to allow me to be able to spread that message of love, and kind of in the biggest and most powerful way. It allowed me to experience, I believe, a deeper sense of compassion for humanity and understanding, and a deeper sense of love. And also, and still in the process, I'd say, of really learning to love myself. So it's been an incredible gift. So perhaps God allowed me to stop biting my fingernails so that I could have this experience, such a powerful one to have in the world, so that I could really fulfill on my mission. And then the other side to this, and there's always a paradox in life, is if we want to break ourselves and or our children of bad habits, especially ones that would be considered stress related, do we want to be sure that we do the work so that they're released of that stress first and then break the habit? And I'm a firm believer that the stress could no longer be there, and you could still have the habit. So I can get that, I could still be biting my fingernails for a stress that's no longer there. But anyway, it's just something to think about when we're looking at necessarily bad habits that we have. Can we figure out what the stress that's causing them behind it is, release that stress, do the work to process that, and then from there go and continue the work that might be needing to break the bad habit. So just a thought, wanted to put that out there, something to think about. If anybody's got stories to relate back or share about that, I would love to hear them. Have a beautiful and brilliant and blessed day.